Yeah, hello. So, hello, good evening, everybody. Am I audible? Can please raise your hand if I am audible? Let's do a test at the beginning. Hello, am I audible? Okay, that's nice. Please everybody, keep your mic in mute status. I will unmute you, or you can unmute yourself and ask me anything in between. And we have our CIC members in the chat box. If you have any question, you can ask, and they will answer your questions there in the chat box. And yeah, so now we have around 50 people here. So now let's start. Maybe they will be joining later on. So now it's already 7:03. So now we will be beginning the presentation. And yeah, so hope you enjoyed the tune of the webinar. It was created by us when there was the when we have started this club. And the inauguration, we have created this tune. Many people like Himanshu, Badal, Simron. So this club is around 1 year old now, and this is a cyber intelligence club. Let me introduce the club first of all. Actually, this club is not only for the students. This club is like in this club there are both the members, even our faculties and the students as well. And this is a cyber security club. Like we do webinars, we conduct webinars, workshops, and all, and CTFs and many things like that. And we also have sessions on every Saturday when there is when the college will reopen. Hope it reopen soon. Every Saturday we have our sessions on Saturday. So this is the club. We have our HOS sir also over here, Ashwini Kumar Tiwari sir. I would like to welcome him. Thank you, sir, for giving your time. And now let's begin our presentation. So yeah, the this webinar is this Adrishya Cyberspace. So why this I have given this name is like many things are like in this cyberspace, cyber world. Whenever you connect to the internet, the epoxy begins. Like everything, your privacy is like getting your losing your data and data breaches. Somebody is trying to hack you when you connect to the internet. You never know how many of your data is leaked till now. So in this webinar, I will tell you how you can stop these things, how you can check whether your data was leaked before or not. So everything. So yeah, as usual, I will show you the content of the webinar, like what all content we will be talking, like we will be like discussing today on. So the content are as follows. Uh, yeah, so you see unspecified. So why unspecified? Because I am doing a webinar on anonymity and privacy. And what if I only reveal the content of the webinar? So won't it be boring? Is the PPT visible? Can you please raise your hand if the PPT is visible? Because many of you are reporting that the PPT is not visible. Okay, is it? Can you please unmute yourself, Rajit? Hello, Rajit. Can you please confirm?
Yeah, it's visible.
There is no issue?
Ayush, you can go ahead. It's
Yeah,
visible.
yeah, sure, sure, sure.
No.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so the content I said, as I said, it's unspecified. I'm not going to tell you the content of this PPT of this presentation, otherwise it will be boring. So yeah, uh, all the data breaches in 2019 and our Ashwini sir is not able to connect. Rajit, please assist him. He's in the group. I'll also provide the link.
Sure.
Yeah, please assist Ashwini sir. Yeah. So all the data breaches of 2019 and 2020, the data breaches were like we all use this Truecaller. Yeah. So this Truecaller, around 2.3 million data were leaked. Do you have any idea? In May 22nd, May 2020, we all use Truecaller. We have account. and it tells the name of any caller ID, CID. You give the caller ID, it will give the relevant name. So 2.3 million data were leaked from Truecaller. And you all are aware of it is a aviation company, Easy Jet, and it's not that big. It's a budget aviation company, and on May 19th, May 2020, around 9 million data were leaked from their server. Hackers have hacked it and released it in a public domain. All the data, all the username, passwords, and everything. So the mobile, and one more this thing, mobile friends. This is a social networking dating site, something like that. And on that also 3.7 million data were leaked. And the most this thing, Unacademy. You all are aware of Unacademy. Many of you might have done some certification courses also on Unacademy, and even on in Unacademy on 3rd May 2020, around 21 million data were leaked. It might be possible that your data is also leaked in this data breach. So now I will tell you like how you can join this, how you can check this, how many data of you is leaked. You can go on this website and you can just put your email over here, and you can check whether the email address has the data is leaked or not. So this is the thing. You go to this website, please. You follow this because otherwise it will be boring. So you follow this. It will be a kind of practical thing. So we'll come to know whether your data was also leaked in the data breach. So go to this website named haveibeenpawned.com and just put your email address and click on this button over here, and it will tell you whether the data was leaked or not. So please follow. Please, Rajit, please share the link with all our participants so that they can open this link and
Yeah,
check.
yeah,
Have you
it's
published?
been shared, Ayush.
Okay, sure. Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
And one more thing,
Yeah.
some of them are saying that your voice might be a bit low. So if you could please increase the volume.
Yeah. Now is it? Yeah. Hello. Now is it good now?
Yeah, yeah, it's all right.
Okay, it's all right because
Yeah, it's
I'm
all right.
actually recording my screen also, so it might be possible that yeah. So yeah, everybody, please check on this website haveibeenpawned.com, and you just put your email address and just click on this button. It will tell you that you are safe or your data were also leaked in these data breaches, which were in late 2019 and this current 2020. You can check it like whether your data was leaked or not, because I have checked for my email also. It was leaked, and I have also changed my password. There is no issue, but it will tell you whether you are also the victim of this data leak or not. So yeah, I hope everybody of you have checked. I will share this PPT with you as well, and I'll upload this video on YouTube. There is no issue if you miss something or you just are not able to follow up. No issues. Yeah. So now I will be talking about protecting your identity online as well as offline, not only online. I'll be telling you all the offline ways where there are possibilities of your getting your data leaked. Like you go to shopping mall, you fill forms, you give them for a survey or for a draw, and how your data gets leaked over there. These things also I will be telling you. And yes, so use good reputed browsers, like use Google Chrome, use Firefox, or use Apple Safari, because these browsers are good. It doesn't mean that if you use these browsers you are safe, your data is not leaking, or there is no epoxy or nothing like that. If you use this browser, but still there are chances, but like it will take you to a bit safer side, that okay, you're fine, you're using good browsers. So use good browsers like this. And yes, many of you are using Windows 10. Everybody is having Windows 10 in your laptop, in your computer, in your PCs. So it Windows 10 has a feature called Windows Security or Firewall, or you can use any other third-party antivirus softwares like AVG or Norton. It is very good to install them because it will help you from ransomware. It will help you from keyloggers and all. It will automatically detect, because it always gets the new virus definitions, and you will be at the safer side. And yeah, the VPN. I hope you all might be aware of these VPN. What a VPN is? VPN is a virtual private network. Basically, you connect VPN for using geolocation. Like for example, you are restricted to open something. Like for example, anything like TikTok or PUBG or anything. Like you use VPN. But do you know VPN is okay? It changes your IP, but it doesn't mean that you will be full anonymous, or your privacy will be you will be safe. No, it's not that. It just changes your IP, nothing else. You can use it, in fact. But yeah, remember, as I said, you can use VPN, but never use VPN while making online transactions. Like for example, you are making online transaction, like you are paying fees for LPU, you're paying your fees, and you are connected to a VPN server. What would happen is all the data would go through the VPN server through a tunnel, and they might use SSL scraper or anything, any advanced technique to see your card details in clear text. So never use VPN. Use your Geo, Airtel, or home broadband. Never use any VPN or any proxy while making the online payment. This is the thing I wanted to say. And yeah, can you please unmute your mic? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, please unmute your mic. You need to ask something. Hello? Who is this? So yeah, never fill your own email addresses on untrusted sites. You can use services like Temp Email or 10 Minutes Mail for that. Yeah. Is my voice clear, Rajit? Vishal, hello?
Yeah, it's clear, Ayush.
Okay,
Go
it's
ahead.
clear. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. And never fill offline forms. Like for example, you go to a shopping mall, you go to Vishal Mega Mart, you go anywhere, Big Bazaar, and they give you a form, a small kind of coupon, and they ask you to fill your like details, like phone number, your email, your address. Please don't do this. Refrain from filling these kind of form, because you would never get any kind of reward or something. They are just taking your data from you. They are doing data mining and nothing else. So refrain from giving filling these kind of forms, because they are useless. If anybody comes to you and asks that we need a survey, we need this and that, just deny. It's your privacy, it's in your hand. Why you're giving your own details to someone else? And as always said, never you share the OTPs with anybody, even if he's your good friend or someone. You'd never share the OTPs, because it is a two-factor verification. And please don't share the OTP with anybody. And stop using the Chinese applications, like the TikTok, or in games you can say PUBG, or any other services like UC browser. Because what is happening now is, before these apps were legal, but still they were leaking your data. But now they have been banned by the Indian government, and now you are you they have you are more safer than before, that the Indian government have banned. But many of you, in fact, you are using a VPN, and you're using those apps like TikTok, and you're using PUBG if you're not getting ping or something. But the thing is, now these Chinese application are not having the agreement with India. So they might take all of your data, like you give the permission of your the gallery, then they might also take all the photos, or they might take whatever they need, because they are not having the privacy policy now with India. So stop using UC browser, because these kind of browsers are like famous for leaking your information. You surf any website, they know what you are surfing online, and they're sending to Chinese server. And yes, one more thing: never answer to incoming calls with a private number or no caller ID, because it has happened with me, and even with one of my friend. He's in my class, I would not like to take his name. They receive a call from private number or like this, and they try to do a scam. They try to say that you want a reward, something like that. So never answer that call. Just hang up. Don't hang on. Don't talk to them. And protecting your debit card. See, everybody is having a debit card or a credit card. You will be coming to college, and you will be carrying a debit or credit card with you. But do you know, many of us are not aware that how to protect debit card and credit cards. So to what is happening is, like you give your pin, like if you're not willing to go to the ATM, you give it to your friend. You say, Ki, yeah, this is my pin. You go and please give me this much amount for me. Just withdraw and give me. But the thing is, never share the pin with anybody, because there are many services online, like any gateway which is abroad in US or UK. When you give the card to them, and they will take a picture of your card, they can make transaction. There is no need of OTP also. So never give your card's pin, and never give the card also. Never give the card to a restaurant waiter when he comes to you with the diary, that you put the this is the bill, and you put the card and you give that you swipe it for me. So never do these kind of thing. They might clone your card. They have a small device like cloner. They might clone it like a CD. Are you aware of that? So never give your card to a waiter or something like that. Put a black tape on CVV. There is no need to display the CVV when you give it to a guy who is doing the billing for you. Like for example, in Vishal Mega Mart or anywhere you go, then they take your card. Then some people might also see that what's your CVV, and they can memorize the 16-digit card number also. They have a good memorizing power, and this thing happens. So what you do is, see, this is my own card, and I'm confident enough to show you all my own ICICI card. So the thing is, you put a tape on the card number and put a tape on the CVV. This is it. When you put a tape, nobody is able to see your card, and you are at the safer side. So please make a note of it. You can do it right now. Take a black tape, small black tape, and put it on your CVV. Whenever you go to make transactions in malls or anywhere, you will be safe, because your CVV is not visible at all. And you just remember, it's 3-digit code CVV is. So this is the suggestion from my side. And yes, not getting trapped by scammers or phishing call attacks on the call. What phishing is, as you all know, phishing. So same thing, if somebody does it on call, they call you, or they try to convince you that we are from government, or we are from these agencies or something like that. Don't come, just don't accept the call. Just hang it up. Don't hang up. This is the best way. And yeah, if you think they are just asking you questions which are having the answer is in yes and no, but still there is no need to answer to those questions as well, because they are like very trained. They will just ask you some simple questions, you answer them in yes and no, and you will be in a great trouble. These and don't receive any call, as I said, from no caller ID or private number. I'll show the screenshot of my own iPhone that I have received calls from these numbers, and I never pick up these phones, because you cannot also block these numbers. Do you know that? You cannot this block these numbers. I will show you why. And if you receive a robocall or a IVR calling you that press 1 for this, press for 1 2 for that, you just disconnect the call, because that also might take input from you, and they might be having some malicious intent, and you will be in trouble. And if a caller claims that he you want some reward or cash or something like that, you need to give your bank account details. Never share your bank account details, because many of my colleagues have they are victim of these kind of attacks. They call them, and what happen is they ask them their bank account number, and they just do whatever they want, because they have all the details. And if the caller claims that, yeah, we are from government agencies, or I have seen many callers, they just claim that we are from COVID-19 department of government, this and that. Then you just ask him, what's your name, what's your ID, and what's your department. You have the right to ask them. If they have called you, you can ask them. Or you have to file a grievance or a complaint on an Indian government website, and you can copy this, or you can take screenshot if you have joined using your phone. https://dot.gov.in public grievances. So here you can file a complaint that you have received a call from unknown number or private number. So they will take a very strict action against such. They will try to trace them back. See the screenshots, I'm going to reveal it, which I have received on my own phone. See, See, this is my call logs, and see over here, are you able to see this no caller ID? And are you able to see this no caller ID when I press this information? I'm not able to call back. I'm not able to block the number. I'm not able to send any kind of messages or any email. So this is the thing. If you see this, this is in my missed call section. I have not picked it up. So you also do the same. Never pick up such calls which are from private number or from no caller ID. And yes, let me tell you one thing. This thing, laser microphone. How many of you are aware of this? That these laser microphone, there is no need to, like, these two bad guys are in one building and they are trying to hear the voice from the other building, which are around 100 meters away, and they are hearing the voice of from that building. They are not keeping any kind of microphone or any kind of any bug device or anything, but they are hearing the sound. But do you know how this laser microphone works? Anybody here in this webinar, anybody is having any idea? Please do raise your hand. I would like to know. Uh, Anybody can please unmute yourself and tell me like what you know about these laser microphones. Yeah. Hello.
No, I am hearing for the first time.
Okay, you are hearing for the first time. Okay.
I know about IMSI catch.
Okay. Okay. Sure. Okay. Sure. I will tell you what a laser microphone is. What a laser microphone is like, as you. Hello. Am I audible, Rajit? Hello.
Yeah, you're audible, Ayush. Please go ahead.
Yes. So these laser, let me on my pointer, laser pointer on, yeah. So when this is a sender and this is a receiving device. So this is a laser beam. And what happen is, like, for example, you're attending this webinar online and you're sitting in your drawing room and you see a laser light in your room or on your window, someone is projecting. So don't think a 6-year-old kid is just playing with a beam of light. It might be these kind of bad guys who are trying to hear your voice or something like this. The possibilities are less, but yes, this is possible. What happens here is they project a beam of light. It can be a red beam, or it can be an infrared, which is at the invisible spectrum of the light spectrum. So it's not visible at all. They project a beam of light on the building, which is having the glass panel. The thing is, the catch is they have to have a glass panel on the victim side. So what happens is, whenever we talk, like I'm just talking to you, I'm speaking something, it creates a kind of vibrations in those glass panels, even in ordinary glass panels. So what happens is, when the light is projected, those vibrations are caught, and in reflection the receiver receives it, and it changes into digital signal, like using codec, like voice codec. You can say G722 or something like that. These are voice codecs, and then they are able to hear what they are talking, or what voice is going on in that building. In this webinar, I have seen that many of you are from ECE department, Electronic and Communication, from LPU. So you might try to make these kind of projects, like these laser microphone. It's very simple. I hope you all work with these kind of projects with Arduino or something like this. You can try to make it. It's a DIY. See, it's a very simple. Just you need to put a laser light and a receiver and just a cell, a Nightwood cell. And you can, I have given the link also. You can go to this link and you can check that how you can make such kind of devices. And it's very simple. So whenever you see a laser beam projecting in your home or on your window, then it might be possible that someone is trying to, like, hear the voice of your, like, what is going inside. So you might all be aware of these kind of phishing attacks. Now these are very common nowadays. You might be aware of it, because all the banks and all, they send you emails that please, if you receive any email, then don't open it and all. So these email attacks are like, they what they do is, see, this bad guy, this shark, what they do is, they make a page. You can read the definition. I am not going to read the definition. Phishing is a cyber crime. Like, they try to make a legitimate same page. Like, for example, they have to make a phishing for Facebook. They will make a replica of Facebook, and it will be hosted on something else, say abc.com, and you log in into it because it's similar. Then all your credentials will go to the intruder or the hacker. So there are some techniques from which you can protect yourself from such kind of phishing attacks also. So I will be talking about these things, like how you can protect yourself from these kind of attacks. See how you can detect that whether it's a phishing attack if it's sent by the email. See, this I will share this thing also with you, or you can take a screenshot also of this. When you receive an email, on the header it is having form, to, and date, and the subject, and the body of the email, and there are some kind of attachments also if they need to send you some kind of attachments. But how you can differentiate, like if it's a legitimate email or it is a phishing attack, they are trying to recreate you to some kind of phishing page or something. It's very simple. See here, first of all, you check the from field, that who have sent you this thing. So, for example, LPU is sending you an email. For example, just consider a scenario. Then the email would be admissions@lpu.co.in or something like that. But if you receive an email saying lpu@admission dash something something.com, or if it's suspicious like lpu@gmail.com, why will LPU send from Gmail? Why not from their own domain? So this can be a flag. You can also check the date and the time, because LPU will never send you an email in unusual times, like 3 o'clock in the morning, or 12 o'clock, or 9, 10 o'clock, like this. If it's in the working hour, it's okay, fine. That yes, you're receiving a legitimate email. And if you're receiving it in non-business times, when they are not working, and you are receiving an email on their behalf, then it might be possibly a phishing email. And these hyperlinks, they send links because this is their motive of sending the link in the email, that you click on it and you put your credentials. So these hyperlinks are not having the SSL, HTTPS, the lock icon on the browser. You might be aware that you open any website, Google, or any website, like you say Google Meet or My Class, you do classes, Google Meet, there will be a lock icon. It means it's on SSL, secure layer. So they all the your communication is through a tunnel, and you're safe, it's encrypted. But phishing are generally done on HTTP. It can be done on HTTPS, but basically basic attacks are on HTTP. So never try give your credential on HTTP pages which are not secure. It's mentioned. And yeah, if they send you any kind of attachment, if you open that attachment, it might be a virus, and your antivirus could not even detect that kind of viruses, or it might be a ransomware. This has happened with one of the faculties, not from LPU, from other college. I would not like to take name. If you open the attachment, and your whole computer system will get encrypted, and then you have to pay to the guy who have hacked the computer, or this who have made this ransomware. Then only he will decrypt the data. Otherwise, it will be useless, all the data. So never download any attachment from untrusted email. So be sure of it. They just take a screenshot of it, and please refer in future if you need it. So some techniques I will be telling you from my own experience, like how you can detect whether it's a phishing attack. Always check the URL, website URL, whether it is a HTTPS, and if it's a Facebook page, then it will be 100% sure that the URL should say facebook.com. If it's saying abc.com or something else, it means it's a phishing page. And never try to log in. Even nowadays, many people just log in and they lose their account, and the hacker takes take over their account. And yes, always make sure you have a secure connection with the website. using HTTPS, not HTTP. And if your browser is popping up the warning that please don't open, it's a phishing page, then don't click on allow anyways. If you click on allow anyways, you will be able to access that site, but it will be harmful for you only. That's why your browser is stopping you. Never open URL from the email which are sent to your spam folder in the email, because these are the filters, advanced filter, which sends the mail in spam if they find something suspicious like phishing or something like that. And if you get a pop-up messages while browsing the internet, like very attractive message, you won an iPhone or something like that, like a wheel will be like rotating and you won a fridge or a MITV, something like that, never click on those links, because those are called clickbaiting. And when you click on that links, what would happen, it will redirect you to some other page, and they will have your IP address, they will have many kind of details of your like. So never click on those. They might also try to hack your system. You can refer phishing.org for more details. Always use good browsers like Chrome and Safari. Don't use UC browser. See, UC browser or similar browser like MI browser also, because I have done research on MI browser, and I have found that MI browser is also sending on a third party server. Your data they are sending on a third party server, and UC browser you delete it, because it's banned in India also, and it's a Chinese app, and they are sending all the data to third party server which are in China. So never use UC browser. Okay, I would like to know like how many of you nowadays are using UC browser. Can you please raise your hand if you're using UC browser even now? Three people: Sitanshu, Pankaj, and Vinay. Anybody else? Aditya. Mm-hmm. So please stop using these kind of UC browsers. Okay, it's fine, it's good, user friendly, the UI is good, but the thing is the privacy is not good. All your data is getting leaked, and UC browser is a Chinese application. Please install it right away after this webinar. So this is not a good browser, UC browser, as I told you before also. So now let me begin. And I will now tell you, you will be shocked that how even Google, a trusted company like reputed companies like Google and Apple, how they also track you and they have your data without your permission. You just accept the private policy agreement and all. You would never read it. Even I never read it before. But the thing is that always continuously tracks you. See, all of us use services like this Google Drive, Google Meet, etc. But the thing is, do you have idea of Google Timeline? Do you know what a Google Timeline is? Hello? Please raise your hand if you are having idea what a Google Timeline does. Yeah, hello? Please raise your hand if you know what a Google Timeline is. Alok Raj, can you please tell me what a Google Timeline is?
Hi there.
Yeah, hi Alok, how are you? Please tell me what a Google Timeline is as you raise your
Is
hand.
it audible?
Yeah, you're audible. You're audible.
Basically, Google Timeline shows us our everyday daily time routine. Wherever we visit or meet somewhere places, it
Mm-hmm.
tracks our all the location and keeps us in the Google Timeline. We can see, I mean, years back, where were we at this time at this date. It collects all the information of us.
Yes, you're right. And see, as you can see over here also, Google Timeless is an innovative and useful feature of maps. But the thing is, as long as you are
Yeah, because
comfortable with the,
that's a proof also. We have visited that place once.
yeah, it has pros and
If at
cons
the
both.
same time I'm stuck into a crime, that will save me.
Yes,
I was
you're
there.
right. Yes,
at
yes.
this
Thank you, Alok. Thank you very much for
time,
yeah,
at this place.
yeah. Thank you. So you can check your own timeline by clicking on this link by google.com/maps/timeline. This you have to go slash
Yeah,
maps
most welcome.
slash yeah, thank you, slash timeline. Then you will be able to see all the histories, like not only 1 month, 2 month back, even 4 years, 6 years back, where you have been. You have used a motorcycle or a car or a train, and you have traveled from Jammu to Punjab, then Punjab to somewhere else. It will have all the locks in the Google timeline, and I will show you how a Google timeline looks. You can turn it off by going to this link. I'll assist you in turning it off also. So see, this is how a Google timeline looks. This timeline is of one of my friend. See, Jalandhar is showing the LPU's location. Then we go to Fagwada. Many of you are new, so you might not be aware of Fagwada. Fagwada is like basically 10 kilometers away from our college, and people visit there. Like there are shopping malls like Vishal and all. So see, it shows everything. See, Pathankot here, Batala, Amritsar, everything it is having. See, it is showing 79 places, and if I click, it will show in detail also that where they have been like in before. So you can turn it off. And how? You have to go to this link, or you can just open your myaccounts.google.com to manage the account, and go to data and personalization and off it. If you want to check your own Google timeline, how you can check it, I'll tell you on phone. If you are joined using your phone, just open your Google Map, and after opening the Google Map, click on the right top corner, your profile picture, and after clicking on the profile picture, there will be Google timeline. And believe me, it will show you all the like logs when this account was created. If your account was created 6 years back, all the location where you have been before 6 years, everything would be there, like where is your house, when you go where, which location you hang out, where you go, everything is there, like in your timeline. So you can turn it off by going managing your Google account and simply turn it off. So see, when Google tracks you, you never turned it on, but it was by default turned on. I hope you will check your own timeline after this webinar. And yes, if you hold an Apple iPhone and you're an Apple iPhone user and you think you are safe, so you are not safe. And why you are not safe? Because Apple also does the same thing. Without your permission, it's logging your locations. And here they don't call it significant, they call it significant location, not Google timeline, because it's by Apple. So they call it significant location, and they are tracking you. And you can turn this thing also off. Even I have turned it off on my phone, because why will I like want if that Apple should know where I have been and where I go, which places I hang out and all. So you should all must turn it off. So to turn it off, your significant location in iOS 13 and iOS 14, what you can do is you can go to the settings. I would like to know how many of you are here. Wait, please tell me how many of you are iPhone users or Apple Mac or anything. Then I will tell you how to turn it off. Okay, Hitesh, Vinay, Himanshu, Mittal. Okay, fine. So the thing is, let me tell you. Yeah. So to turn the significant location off on your Apple iPhone or Apple iMac, what you need to do is go to settings, open your settings, and then go to this privacy tab. Let me turn on the laser pointer. Just go to this privacy. I hope you are following me. You have opened privacy tab. Now you just go to location services. This is very simple. Everybody you know this thing. After going to location services, you go all the way down to system services. System services. After clicking on system services, you have to go to significant location here, and you have to turn it off. significant location, you have to turn it off. So what happens is, like when you turn it off, all your previous detail like logs will get deleted. So it says significant. It's disabling the significant location will affect many Apple apps and all. They just try to warn you that okay, you just don't disable it. But thing is, you should disable it. You must disable it right now, because why should Apple know your locations? They just promise you that we don't see that and all. The thing is, they have the access. They can see it. Why not? Even WhatsApp promises us that your chats are private, but you all know that Ria Chakravarti's all the chats were retrieved, and if any crime happens, all the chat in on WhatsApp it gets retrieved, and they have the access of all the chats. They make a backup of it. Even if you delete it from your own phone, it's stored on their server. So nothing is secure. Nothing is. If you're using any service, then you will be tracked. So to stop watching videos directly on YouTube, and why I'm saying this is, if you watch a YouTube video on YouTube, for example, a technical Guruji's video, any kind of like technical video or any video. So what happens is, even if you're not logged in the YouTube app, you have not logged in Google account, but still they know the interest of you, like in which field you are interested, what kind of videos you would like to watch, whether it is kind of like technical videos or something like that. If you have watched Big Boss any season, then it will only show you those kind of videos only, because it is collecting all your interests. It is keeping the statistics of that, and it's showing you that. So why you are letting YouTube to track you? I do agree it is having a good UI and it is showing you, but you can use this one in videos.us. You can take screenshot of this. You can go to any of these links like yewtu.be, and it will have not a great UI like YouTube, but you can view all the videos which are available on YouTube. And the best part is, YouTube will not be able to track you, and there will be no plus of views on their videos also. It will be pure anonymously, like you view any video, it is having zero view. Even if you watch it, there will be no views from your end, and you will anonymously watch that video, and YouTube will never know that you have watched. And yes, my friend, stop using Google search engine, as we all use. Even I use Google because it's user friendly. The searches are relevant and all. But do you know why searches are relevant? For example, I search for stock market, and in the very next tab I search how to. I just write how to. It will tell how to invest in stock market, how to do this in stock market, because it is continuously tracking you. It's tracking your IP, it is tracking everything. So why I'm saying I'm focusing on DuckDuckGo, duckduckgo.com. You can try it now. It is also a search engine, and it is a very good search engine. Like it is capable of everything what Google does. But the best part is, it does not log your IP, or it does not make any search history, or it does not track you. And it has a no bubble you policy. No bubble you means it's not gonna pop you and just bust your bubble and just let the cat out of the bag. It's not going to it is going to keep your privacy at, like, it will never let it go out, because it's having a no bubble policy, something like this is called it. But they're not going to share it anywhere, because they themselves does not keep any kind of logs whatever you search. Because do you know, if you search anything on Google, it might be something very personal, or it might be something it will tell the state of mind of yours, like what you are up to or what you are thinking, and Google is making a record of that. Even if you delete the history of YouTube, but still, when you go to manage.google.com, there will be a history tab, and all the histories that what you have searched on Google will be there. So never use Google, because it's tracking you. Always it's tracking you, even though you are not logged in into your Gmail account. But in the case of DuckDuckGo, this one, the search engine is very good, and you can use it. Because, and one more thing, the best part is, it automatically changes the URL and adds the HTTPS, the secure socket layer. Whereas in Google, you search any link and even it's hosted on HTTP, it will just open it. But it will try to append the S in the HTTPS so that you're browsing safe and nobody else is trying to sniff into your personal life. Because search engine reveals a lot about you. Because what was your state of mind, what kind of things you were searching and all. And yes, chatting privately and anonymously is the main thing. And why I'm telling you this, for example, there is emergency in your state and all the internet services are dropped. Like it had happened many times in Punjab, also in all over India. And if any in future also any kind of emergency happens and they just shut down the internet or they shut down everything, and they are monitoring, actively monitoring the WhatsApp and Telegram and Instagram, you chat anything they are having the eye on it. WhatsApp is not safe. They just say that it's point to point and all, but it is not safe. You all know how Ria Chakravarti's and all the victims' chat are revealed. It's okay, it's good, but the thing is, you are not safe. You share your photos, you share your files, you share confidential official files. Everything is stored on WhatsApp server also. So for private chatting privately, you can download this app. It's called Briar, BRIAR. You can go to this link, BRIAR project.org, and it's only available for Android, not for the iOS. So the best part is you can also communicate using your Bluetooth, and Bluetooth range is approximately around 15 to 20 meters. You can chat. It will be a PAN, personal area network. You might be aware of networking a bit, WAN, LAN, and PAN. So it will be a kind of PAN networking. So it is very safe because you're not connected to outside world on WAN or even on LAN. And if you are on the same Wi-Fi, for example, in LPU there is a very big LAN in LPU, and if there is no internet connectivity, but still you can chat, and your chat will be point to point. There is no centralization, no server that is storing. That is only stored on your device itself. Device A, device B. If your device A is talking to B, all the chats are stored on their respective devices, not on a central server. And all the when you are using the internet and while chatting or calling using this app, all your traffic is going through Tor. Are you aware what a Tor is? What a Tor is, it automatically creates a tunnel, and a device A is talking to device B, and it's going, all the packets are going through a tunnel. So even though there is emergency in your state or in your country, law enforcement are actively tracing all the keywords, every chats, everything, but they will not be able to know that what you're doing, to whom you're talking, you are talking. So you can download this project Briar. It's free and it's very safe. I have tested it. And yes, I was asking, do you know what a Tor is? Please let me know what a Tor. Do you have any idea? Please raise your hands if you have idea what a Tor is. Okay, Vinay, Aditya. Okay, Santosh. Please raise your hand if you are aware what a Tor is, because you all are from technical background. You're from BCA, MCA, ECE, CSC. You might be if you do, yeah. Okay, okay, okay. So now let's continue. So let me tell you what a Tor is. Tor is you cannot say it's kind of VPN. Tor is very much safe. Like nobody can track you. There are many layers of routers are there, like middle routers, then end point router and all. You can see the architecture of Tor. So it's very very safe. If you are making any kind of conversation between A and B, nobody's gonna track you, or no chats will be available on their own server also. So yes, this thing, compartmentalize your email. What I mean by compartmentalize is just create different emails for different thing. Like for shopping, make a different email. For example, your name is Abhishek. Make a email with abhishek.shopping@gmail.com or abhishek.shopping119@gmail.com if not available. So shopping, it deserves a different email. Yeah, a social media, if you are using Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, make a different email and give them different email while signing up. For personal work, you give a different mail, keep a different mail. For work, and banking also, they deserve a different email. I know it's not that it is easy. You can use like password managers, like you can use your one password, or you can use your you can save it on your local notepad and like this, and you can just make different mails. Why to make one email and just keep different passwords for all the email? The thing is, for example, you have created an email abhishek@gmail.com. Then do not keep the password the same password. For example, the password is demo123. Then for the social media, you have created abhishek.socialmedia@gmail.com. Don't keep the same password demo123. Keep different password, because, for example, one email is compromised or hacked. So all the password are similar. So if all the passwords are similar, your all the accounts will be compromised. And the best thing is here is temp mail. What these temp mail do is, it's a temporary email service. You can take a screenshot of this. It will be very, very beneficial for you, because many of you might be aware of this, but many of you might be not also. So please take a screenshot. The link is temp-email.org. And then what happens is, it will just automatically generate an email. For example, here it's given some kind of email at bboygarage.com. So just give this email. For example, you are going to any kind of forum or any kind of thing which requires a sign up, and it's not that popular, that forum or something. Then why to give your own email? Then your email will be spammed, or you will receive a lot of email. So just give a temporary email, because you need a temporary access of it. Give a temp email, sign up. You will receive a mail here, and you can just sign up using this service. Temp mail is a very good service. And yes, I will tell you the deep understanding of what permissions to be given and what permissions not to be given to iOS and your apps in Android. The thing is, what you can do is, for example, when you install an app on your Android, it asks you permission, right? You give the permission for the camera, you give the permission for your mic, you give the permission of gallery and all. But the thing is, never give extra permissions to any app. For example, you have downloaded a pizza ordering app like Domino's app, and if the Domino's app is asking you the mic privilege or mic permission or camera, why to give them? So just refrain from giving extra permissions to any app. I'm saying not only Domino's, to any app. Don't give extra permission. Just restrict it. Don't give all the permissions. And even in the iOS 14, which is the new iOS released just 3 weeks ago by Apple, iOS 14, it has a privacy feature called precise location. So what happens is, any app which requires your location, it will have the exact coordinate of your house. So if you are using a weather application, weather, which tells the weather of your state, or of your like where you are. So why to give the exact precise location? So you can turn the precise location off. So that weather app will only see that, okay, fine, you are sitting in Jalandhar. That's it, Punjab, Jalandhar. It will not give the exact where you are, and where everything is not going to show. So refrain from giving mic permission to apps and which don't require it. For example, you have downloaded the weather application, which is supposed to tell you the weather, and you have given the mic permission to a weather application. It's totally illogical. A weather application is not going to hear the thunderstorm going out there, or the sound of rain, that, okay, sir, this is it's raining right now. It does not need that kind of permission. So don't give permissions like mic and camera and your gallery. These things are should be confidential to you only, because it reveals a lot about you. If the mic is active, they can hear the conversation between what you are talking and all. And if you give the permission of gallery, all your photos will be leaked. See, iOS 14 also have a feature like in which when you open a gallery, you will be having option to give a permission or privilege to certain pictures only. Like you are having 1000 photos in gallery, and you need to send one photo out of it. Then what is the need of giving the privilege of all the 1000 photos if you are just need to send one photo? So it has a feature which you can just send one photo to anybody, and you just give that app to that access of one photo only. And if you are aware of Linux operating system, you might be aware of chmod permissions and all, like permission 777 is read, write, and everything. So the in background the same thing is working, nothing else. So yes, let me ask, how many of you are using this Google Drive or cloud computing things? Like how many of you are using cloud services like Azure or AWS or Google Drive, Mega Drive, like this? Himanshu, Abhishek Sharma, Aditya, Sitanshu, Chaudhary, Abhishek Chaudhary. I think all of you might be using services like email, Gmail, even Google Meet and Google Drive. So what happens is, let me tell you, there is no cloud. It's just somebody else's computer. See, your data is never stored in any cloud. We just call it cloud computing, but it's just someone else's computer. You are using Google Drive, but your data is getting stored in Google hard disk or solid state drive, and it's kept at their data centers. Okay, fine, they just promise you that we keep your privacy at the top and we never like leak it and all, but who knows, because it is someone else's computer, it's not a cloud. So never trust on a cloud. And let me give you one tip. See, you all upload your files on Google Drive or Mega Drive. You all might be aware of Mega Drive. It's a very good alternative of Google Drive. So, see, you all upload files on Google Drive, but see, make sure you encrypt that folder or that file before you upload it. See, like take a scenario, you upload a file which is very, very, very confidential. You work in a multi-billion company and you are having a very confidential file and you upload it to Google Drive, and someday there is a physical attempt on the server and somebody gets the hard disk of that server. I'm just giving an example, it might not happen. So they will have your file in not in encrypted form, and they might take all the files and they will have all the details, all everything which you have uploaded. So the best practice is use WinRR. You will be aware of this WinRR. WinRR, what it does is there is an encryption option, like you can encrypt the file in 128 and 256 AES encryption. AES is very advanced encryption technology which is used by WinRR, and it is also used by World Bank and many other, because this security is very very, like nobody can break it. Even a supercomputer would break it, like if you are doing a dictionary attack or any word list. But keep a big password, don't give a small password to your WinRR when you encrypt. And now follow me, I'll tell you like how you can encrypt a file before uploading to a cloud. See, let me tell you how you can do that. Are you able to see my screen? Rajit, is my whole screen visible? My desktop? Rajit or hello Anmol, Saptrishi, is my screen visible?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
you are visible, sir.
Yeah,
Screen is
yeah,
visible.
yeah. So now I will
Yes, sir.
tell
Yes, sir.
how
Yes, sir.
to, yeah, no, now I will tell how to encrypt any file, any simple file. Like for example, I encrypt my own capstone project. Like when you go to the final year, you have to make a capstone project. So it was one of my capstone project, and I want to upload it on Google Drive and submit it to my faculty, whosoever is my like who is requiring this file. So I will not directly upload it on Google Drive and give the link. What I will do is just right click on it. I will go slow. Then click on add to archive. If you have WinRR installed, click on add to archive. Fine, you clicked here. Now what you need to do is just click lock archive and click on set password. You can see set password. Click on set password. For the demonstration purpose, I am just giving a small password, which is TEST123, and encrypt the file name as well. Encrypt file name mean it will change the file name. Like my file name is capstone project cap something something, so it will change the name of the file also, that if somebody even try to see the name, he or she can't. So okay, now it has created a WinRR. So now you don't upload this one. You upload the encrypted file, the WinRR, or you can use many other applications also, like Vault Crypt, or many applications are available, but the encryption are same, AES 256. So now when you open this, or your faculty, whosoever is trying to open your folder, see now what you need to do is, if you put a wrong password, there is no way you can crack it. Only the way is you can put a dictionary attack here, like there are and then you can crack it. But keep a big password so that even a word list or a password or brute force would not work. So my password was simple, test123. So yeah, so you are able to see the file abshunter.pdf. So now it is encrypted. Now whenever this file will be opened, it will ask you the password. So this was my motive to tell you. So now let me share my presentation window. So yeah, I will, where is my PPT? Okay, is it closed? Yeah, now I will tell how these kind of advertisement trackers, like they work and how they tracks you. Like I've given a scenario you before, I'll give you again. Like what happen is, like if you're interested in some kind of products, then that ads only will be shown. Like for example, before taking admission in MCA, you have searched that on Google, you have might have googled that best college for MCA in India or something like that, siksha.com. So they sell your data, or these kind of ad trackers are having very advanced algorithms which actively tracks you and then shows the ad which is very relevant to you. They're not going to show you any kind of ad. They will not show you Chavanprash out there. They will only show you in what kind of things you are interested. Like LPU, it will show you. You might have seen LPU's own advertisement. But how these work, this I'm going to tell you. Ad trackers track your each and every activity on any website. So I will tell you a scenario, as I have discussed earlier. What kind of scenario? The scenario is, for example, you go to your Amazon app or Amazon.com and you just search a product. You can do it later. You search any product. Like for example, if I search a Tresemme shampoo, for example, and what would happen is the very next day you open your Instagram. See, the very next day when you open the Instagram, you will see a post of that shampoo, the Tresemme shampoo, on your home on the Instagram page, and it will be a sponsored ad by Amazon. And I think many of you might have noticed this, that if you see any something on Amazon, then the same relevant ad will be shown to you. And why? Because you are being actively tracked, and only those ads are shown to you. So this is how ad tracker works. There are many advanced techniques which are used by ad trackers, and we are not aware of that and leave it. And many big companies also sell our data. You know that. I will not like to take the names of that company. And the thing is, many companies, many which we might like not even think of that. Yeah, this company is very this thing. They are privacy centric. How can they sell our data? Or how Apple can sell our data? But this is not possible. See, everywhere there is some kind of malicious insider or something like that. They might leak your data because it's not a cloud, as I told you earlier. It's just somebody else computer where your data is getting stored. So have you ever thought that cloud computing, like cloud storage, Google Drive, they're not charging you anything, it's free. They're giving you 5 GB, right? They're giving you 5 GB, no? But why they are giving you 5 GB? Why they are not charging anything? See, they are not charging you in cash, but they can charge you in data. They can sell your data also. I'm not saying they will, but they can. There are possibilities, and your data is more precious than cash or some amount. So this is the thing. So protecting techniques against the ad trackers, how you can protect yourself so that the advertisement does not track your every move on the online, whatever you surf or whatever you do. So never allow cookies on any website when it is not mandatory or required. When it says that you have to accept cookie, then only, or you just close that website. Because cookie is something, even if you use a VPN, it can still track you. VPN just changes the IP of your IP address, but other things they can track, like how many clicks you are doing, and what kind of things you are searching on the internet, what links you are opening. And some may ask to accept cookie, and some may not even ask. Without asking your permission, they just start using the cookies. And use VPN only if you think that these ads are tracking you. If you have seen any kind of product on Amazon, Flipkart, and the same thing is flashing on any web page or anywhere, so then you might use VPN, because tracking algorithms, the advanced tracking algorithms, the IP address is also a parameter in that, because IP address reveals your geometrical location, like in India where you are and all. So you can use a VPN. Changing your IP, it might help you. And use ad blockers. You are aware of it. Ad blocker, the red color icon, the red logo, that you, when you active on it, then you are not going to see any kind of ads. It's good. So you can use it as your Chrome extension, or you can also download from Apple App Store or Android's Google Play Store. So how a cookie accept message looks like? It looks like this. By using this site, agree. For using this site, you have to agree this thing. So they will show you this little button, and when you click this button, it will automatically disappear, and they will start using your cookie. Right? So never click accept cookie. Just simply close that website and find the alternative who provides that's the same service. And yes, now I come to this topic, Wi-Fi trackers. Do you know, even they can, shopping malls or colleges or stores, grocery stores, they can even track when you come or when you go in and out of their stores. Everything they can track. And how this works, this I will tell you. If your device is having a Wi-Fi, like your phone or your Apple Watch or your Galaxy Watch or anything which is having a Wi-Fi inside, and you leave it on, so what these Wi-Fi tracker does is it will catch those probe requests, because your Wi-Fi card will be like searching continuously for a Wi-Fi AP, Wi-Fi access point, and if no access point is found, it will continuously search the thing. And the thing is, you will be not you cannot find like any AP, and these AP trackers will track you. These Wi-Fi pineapples are also installed. Wi-Fi pineapples are very advanced trackers. Like these trackers can track all the things, like where when you come to the store or college or malls, and when you go, so they can analyze. They can get the data of yours. It's called log probes. You can read it. Log probes is the same thing. Your device leaves a packet, and they catch the packet, and they just collect the data. So then shopping malls use the data collected by Wi-Fi tracker, then they analyze the visitors data in advance in virtualization tools like Tableau or RapidMiner. You might have heard about Tableau or RapidMiner. You might be working if you are from MCA background. See, the data can be used in n number of ways, because they have your data. If they have to bring some kind of scheme or something, some offers in store, they will have the data. Yes, do you have this consistent customer, and he comes this day and at this time. See, this is how a Wi-Fi pineapple looks. This device can just track your every move, and just if your Wi-Fi is turned on and not connected to any Wi-Fi, it will start tracking you. It will not ask your permission. It will start tracking you. These Wi-Fi pineapple. So how you can protect from getting tracked by such kind of Wi-Fi trackers? I'll tell you. Never let your phone or any electronic devices with Wi-Fi on. Never leave your phones with your like Wi-Fi turned on, because these trackers will actively track you then. And if you leave the Wi-Fi not connected, the same thing I told you, it will send a probe request, and it can be easily sniffed. and visually check if you find any suspicious device like Wi-Fi pineapple. You can visually check if you find that same device like that, a black device with two antennas. It can probably be a Wi-Fi pineapple also. Refrain from using public Wi-Fi's, because what happens is when you use public Wi-Fi, your all the connection log will be stored, and they know when you connected and how you connected, and they also ask you the number, your phone number, and they send you OTP. So never refrain from connecting to public Wi-Fi networks which are installed in shopping mall or cafes like this, because intruders are actively sniffing those Wi-Fi networks. And since Wi-Fi network keep connection log, this I told you. And now, yeah, we are done. And you can ask me the questions which you would like to ask me.
Ayush, please share about the feedback link to them and the process of attendance so that they can receive the certificates. So we'll float the feedback link on the chat.
Yes, yes, on the chat window, please share the link. Yes, hello. Yeah, so you have any questions, please ask me. You can unmute yourself and you can ask if you have any doubt or if you need to ask anything. No need to raise your hand. You can just simply unmute yourself and you can ask me. Yes, Vinay, you have raised your hand. You have any question?
Hello.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, tell me.
Hello.
Yes.
If I see I am in front, then what I can do after front?
What you're asking me?
If ever I see that I have fun,
You
then
have,
what I can do?
if you have a phone.
Fun. PWN.
Okay. Let me tell you. If you go to Have I Been Pawned, this website, let me share my screen to you all. See, this thing. When you go to Have I Been Pawned, it will tell you whether your data was leaked or not. See, this is the website, and see if I, for example, I'm putting my own email address over here. So it will tell that whether your data was leaked before or not. See, it's showing me yes, my data was breached. But I continuously change my password. So basically, you have asked me what it does. So it just tells you if your data was leaked or not in early.
Thank you so much. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
welcome.
Ayush, I am audible.
Yes, you're audible.
Yeah, Ayush, some have queries about how a person, a third person can track your history, login history, and also searching in internet through the public IP. So kindly explain about the packet sniffing to
Okay,
them.
packet sniffing. Yeah. See, packet sniffing is done on LAN, but it can also be done on websites like which are not running on HTTPS. So what happens is, if in a LAN configuration, if somebody runs a kind of ARP poisoning in the network using ettercap or any kind of script, then what would happen is they will get all the data. It's a kind of man in middle attack. So all the packets between you and the server are going through that hacker or intruder. So they can sniff all the packets which are on HTTP, not HTTPS, but they can strip the HTTPS and sniff that packet also. Yeah, but still you have any doubt, you can ask me. Who asked this question? Saptrishi?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Also, explain about the Google timeline. Some are asking that after 2 years, can we check it or not?
Yes, you can check it. See, to check the Google timeline, you open your Google Maps. Everybody is having Google Maps installed on their phone. If it's an Android phone, it's by default a stock application. Please open your Google Maps, and after opening the Google Map, you will have You will, yeah, yeah. The link has been shared. You can open this link and log in your ID. Then you can turn it off. Yes, please feel free to ask me anything. If you need to ask, you can ask. If you have
I have a
anything.
doubt.
Yes, yes. Please tell me.
When printing,
Yes.
Hello, can I ask in between?
Yes, yes. Sure, Abhishek. You can ask.
It's a, like bhaiya, is someone I am accessing the Wi-Fi of the public network, like in mall, shopping complex, etc. And someone got hacked my bank account. It is happened. It is like a serious case, and it is happened with my fellow friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like and amount, some amount is debited from his account, like 5,000 or 6,000 something.
Yes, yes, definitely. Then.
How it is happen, like how they
Yes.
can access, I have some permission, might be they have asked, and I my friend, that friend has ticked that one, yes, okay,
No, no, no,
some
no. Let me tell you what happened in that case is your friend was using a Wi-Fi connection, which was a public Wi-Fi connection.
yes,
And
yes,
what happens in
yes,
that kind of connection, like it might be a cafe, coffee cafe's Wi-Fi connection, or if it's a air in
yeah,
at the airport or something like that. So at that kind of
yeah,
Wi-Fi routers, the some kind of intruders or some people with malicious intent, they actively does the kind of ARP poisoning or some kind of man in middle attack, and they might have seen the transaction details in clear text.
yes,
He or your
yes,
friend might have done the transaction in clear text, so the card number, CVV, everything the intruder may have.
yes,
That's why they made it.
yeah,
So you they
okay,
yeah,
okay,
yeah. So this is the thing.
okay.
Yeah.
Then how the government, Indian government or the agencies are it should be their act in their policy, and something like the customer, the
No, no,
people
you
should know
no,
about,
no. Let me
aware
tell you,
about this,
the
right?
same thing had happened with my father also. And what
Yes,
you need to do is you need to raise a dispute. It's called raising a
yes,
dispute. You call the bank. You say that this transaction was not made by me. Raise a dispute. So they will just
okay,
lock your account, and they will just put when they will be there will be a finding that okay, that transaction was not by you. Then they will refund that amount to you. Yes,
okay, okay,
that's it. Just
okay.
raise a dispute.
If you are free, if you are free to tell, then what happened with your father? Like some card and OTP, like some amount is also debited from your father's account with some
Yes,
CVV or that
yes,
extra.
yes, yes, yes. Yes, it happened. Then we get the
Ayush, I
message
have
and
a
all.
question too.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, Alok Raj, ask me. Thank you, Abhishek.
I was
Yes.
about to ask you whether Wi-Fi, the public Wi-Fi at airport or railways, is it safer to use?
See, Wi-Fi networks are okay. Like even in railway, as you said, they Google is providing that kind of Wi-Fi, and it's very fast in railways. Like if your train stops at any station, you can download the whole movie. It's very fast, 40, 50 Mbps. But the thing is, they are not safe. Many people with malicious intent are there on on railway stations or near the Wi-Fi access point, and what they do is they just sniff into those kind of Wi-Fi routers. They put a IRP poisoning or any kind of man-in-middle attack, and your packets might be going through his system and then to the end server.
And one more thing to add in
Yes,
between.
yes. Tell me, Alok.
Before using the internet, we need to give our number and OTP to. So there also we are sharing our data, I guess. Like
Yes,
numbers, we
yes,
are sharing
sure.
numbers.
You are sharing your data. See, to give the access to the internet, they are asking you your phone number, then sending you OTP. Then
Yeah.
they are keeping the log that yes, Alok Raj have connected to this Wi-Fi at this timestamp, and he or she have used this many websites, and this many data have been used. So they have all the logs.
It is kind of unsafe to use at the public Wi-Fi at airport,
Yes,
railway station, right?
yes, 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 yes. It's very
Yeah.
unsafe.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, Alok.
Excuse me, I have a doubt.
Yes,
Can you
ask me.
just tell in detail about SSS 7?
SS, what you're asking me? Hello.
It is a protocol,
No, what kind?
SSS 7 protocol.
SSL, secure socket
SS
layer.
7, yes.
See, basically, what these kind of thing do is it's come under signaling system number 7. It is coming. You are talking about the telephony signaling. It's not related to our topic. We are you. If you ask me what SSL is, I can tell you. But what you are asking is SS7 is signaling system number 7, and it is a telephonic signal protocol. It's different. It's not in our covered in our. But you can ask any question which is relevant, like related to privacy or anonymity or HTTPS or something like that. Yes.
Bro, I've just learned about the Firefox bug.
Mm-hmm. Okay, anybody else? You need to ask anything. You can ask me because I'm going to end.
Yes, I have to give advice like if you are using the public Wi-Fi network for shopping complex and McDonald's at extra, then we
Yes.
should use. I think we should use VPN also to access that
Yes,
Wi-Fi.
yes. It's a very
Right?
good way. You can use VPN. You can turn your VPN on, but do not make transactions on that. As I told in the PPT, you connect to the Wi-Fi. You surf the internet so that public Wi-Fi administrator will not have the details which website you have visited. So it's safe. It's a very good. You can use VPN. VPNs like Proton VPN
Thank
or
you, Ayush and Abhishek.
NordVPN.
Thank you again for
Yeah.
adding this to points
Yeah.
into this.
Yes.
Fine.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
bro.
Thank you very much.
Alok.
Yeah, anybody else? Please feel free because I'll be ending the session 8:30 at 8:30. Yes, ask me. Your name, please?
My name is Adarsh Chaurasia.
Yes, Adarsh. Tell me, please.
There is one of my friend. He got
Yes.
a link on Messenger. When he just click on it, his
Mm-hmm.
account get hacked. His FB account get
Uh-huh.
hacked. He didn't fill any credentials. Can you tell me
Yes.
what could be happened?
Yes, I can tell you. See, these things are called, it might be possible that your friend have already logged in the Facebook on that browser also, on which the link.
No, he was using the application.
Yeah,
Facebook
he was using
application.
the application, but he have not put the credential. He have not given, right, as you said. But it might be possible that his cookie was pushed. Am I audible?
So basically, cookies. spoofing,
Cookies.
right?
Yes. As Saptarishi has also written in the chat box, the cookie. So that session is also opened on the intruder side also. So this is he have stolen the cookie. It's not kind of phishing. He have stolen the cookie. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Can I ask?
Yeah, sure. Your name,
Hello?
please. Your name, please.
Hisham Hassan.
Yes, Hussain. Tell me.
So, are we able to be invisible on this cyberspace actually in nowadays?
You are asking to be invisible in the cyberspace. See, you can use Tor network to connect to surf the internet and use Cubes OS. You can write it down. Cubes OS. Please, Saptrishi, provide the link. Yeah. So that will give you a lot of anonymity and privacy while surfing the internet. Because for every browser you open, it will create a different tunnel for that. Or you can use a tail OS also, as Anoop said. You're right. Because every session will have a different IP. Or you can download the Cube OS. It's a very secure OS. Cubes OS. Saptrishi have provided the link of cubesos.org. So am I clear?
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
And
Thank you.
TLSOS are operating systems, right?
Yes. Can you please repeat? Hello.
I was asking that CubeOS and TailsOS are operating system
Yes,
Linux based,
Linux
right?
based. Yes, it's a Linux based operating system. And whenever you open any line terminal also or any web browser, so it will provide a separate tunnel for that. It works on the basis on one. There is something called sandboxing. So it works on that concept, sandboxing. You can read on it. Yeah.
So which type of this is IP? It hides IP or something else?
Yeah, it hides your IP. It hides your IP. It shows different kind of different identity. It hides your IP also.
Can you tell me
Doubt.
what is the difference between proxy and VPN?
Yeah, proxy and VPN. See, let me tell you this thing. A proxy and VPN does the same thing. It just gives you the IP of the server. Proxy server will give you the IP of that server, and VPN also will do that. But the proxy is not having encryption, and VPN is having the encryption. VPN can be of IKEv2, or it can be OpenVPN, or it can be TCP, or on the UDP. But the thing is, when you use a proxy server, your data is not getting encrypted and sent. It's just sent in the same way it's sent to your IPS.
Can we use both of them at the same time?
Yeah, sure. You can use both of them as a second. You can use both as the same time also.
Ayush, I'm having one more question.
Yes, ask me.
Hello, is it audible?
Yes, Alok, you're audible. Tell me.
Hello, but I
Yeah.
can't hear anything. Hello.
Yeah, hello. Maybe there might be some problem with your connection. Yes, Alok. So we are running out of time, and as at 8:30 I have
I'll
to
ask-
end this.
I'll
Please
come
ask me.
back.
Yeah. Yes, Alok, ask me. Yes, certificate. Yes, you will receive. As Muhammad Kabir have asked me, you will receive the certificate. No issue. Maybe after 2
Is it
3
audible
days.
now?
Yes, you're audible, Alok. Tell me. Yes, Pankaj, DuckDuck is much secure because it does not log your IP addresses as Google do, and it will not make a log that what you have searched. Yes, Alok,
The site
please ask me fast.
which you mentioned initially
Mm-hmm.
that where we have to check
Can you, Alok, can you please write it down on the
our email.
chat window because your voice is not clear.
It is on or not.
Yes. No, cookie would be stored, Abhishek, on DuckDuckGo. It's not like that. But when you open a new session, then there will be the new cookie.
Can I ask now?
Yeah, ask me.
Yeah.
Hello. Please write on the chat window.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
Is it audible now, right? Are you?
Sir.
Yes, audible now.
Sir.
Hello.
Yes, tell me first. Alok.
I just need to ask you the site which you mentioned, no, to check our email. Is it pawned or
Yes,
not?
have
If
IP
it shows pawned, how
Yeah.
to secure?
See, how to secure this is very simple. You every 15 days or every 10 days you change your passwords for all your emails or your Facebook accounts, Instagram. So even if that data was leaked also, your password would be changed by the time it is in the hand of any kind of intruder or something like that. So keep continuously changing your passwords, as our UMS does the same. At every 30 days it asks that to please change the password. So do the same thing. Change password for every account. This is the best way.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Sir, can I
Yes.
ask a question?
Yes.
Using a routed device is safe or not?
Using a rooted device.
Routed, yes.
Yeah, using a rooted device is not safe at all, because the thing is, many application can have the root access. Routing, what it means? It means that giving a root privileges to that app or to the full phone system. So any application, without, even if you deny the permissions like of mic or camera, they might also get the root access of that. So rooting a phone is not a good idea. Never do such kind of practices. Rajit, please share the link of the survey again, because many people are leaving by the time. Yeah, anybody else? It would be a last question, please. If you need to ask, or if you're willing to ask something, please ask me. Then I have to end this meet.
Hello. Yes, I would like to give some conclude to my point. Like during the period of lockdown, the cases or the hacking is increased because the hackers have got much more time to access. Like we people are more online nowadays because YouTube is there, Twitter is there.
Yes.
So, lots of many hacking happened. Like Twitter account, like you have heard the case. The Twitter has hacked
Yes.
Even they have like tweeted from the PM Narendra Modi's
Mm-hmm.
account or website like that. Then how we can like it can be more secure and safe for us? Like if they are the known person or most famous icon
Mm-hmm.
in the India or in the world, then how we can do some such thing like we can secure our web browser, apps, cookies, like something. Then how we can rid of that?
No, no. What you basically mean to say is that if high-profile people's their data is getting leaked, then why not your data
Yes,
can be leaked?
yes,
This thing. See,
yes.
see.
Same
Let
thing.
me tell
Yeah.
you, these peoples are fool. Like Riya Chakravarti, how her
Yes.
chat got revealed because she was
Yeah.
using
Yeah.
WhatsApp, and WhatsApp is not secure. She might be
And
using
it is
apps
from
like Signal or all.
iPhone only. And it is from iPhone OS. Like it
Yeah,
is the most
yeah.
secure device in
No,
the
no,
world.
no. Don't think iPhone is secure. I have shown that even
Okay.
iPhone is logging your data. So never think that iPhone is
Okay.
secure or something. Nothing is
Like they
secure.
are making the making the ads like nowadays IPL is going on that privacy, then it's iPhone.
Yes, yes, yes. See, as you told me about iPhone, I
You are
will.
also having the iPhone 10 or 11.
No, no. Let me show you a video as you have talking that iPhone is safe. It's not safe at all.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
Apple people, they are just focusing on privacy, and we are very strict in privacy policies and
Okay.
that. But this is not right. Uh,
Okay.
wait,
Okay.
wait, I'll show you a video, you all. Then I will
Yeah.
end the session.
It will be good. It will be good to end the session with the video.
Sure, sure, sure. I'm going to share my screen. Are you able to see my screen right now?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes,
It's
see
visible.
this video.
Yes.
I
Like
browsed
this one
8
only.
sites for divorce attorneys today.
I browsed 8 sites for divorce attorneys today.
My login for everything is Pauline at paulinefoo.com.
I love working with you.
Me too.
Red heart emoji.
Pink heart emoji.
Yellow heart emoji.
Blue heart emoji.
I hate Lee though.
Puke emoji.
Puke emoji.
Here they're trying to say that if we are chatting, we are sending emojis that are also. They're saying it loud that, yeah,
I
it's
am
getting.
currently reading an article titled 10 Ways to Keep Sweaty Hands from Holding You Back.
My home is in 1,000 feet.
My heart rate is currently 150, 151, 152, and back down to 150.
On March 15th at 9:16 a.m., I purchased prenatal vitamins and 4 pregnancy tests.
The number on my credit card is 0237 1221 0725 0211.
But this is totally wrong. They try to show privacy. Oh, that's iPhone, but it's wrong. Even people using iPhone, their data is also getting leaked. So please remove this thought that Apple is a very safe platform and our data is not getting leaked. So this is the thing, Abhishek, which I was yeah.
About in short about your own phone.
Yes.
I'm talking about the Pion phone,
My
which
own.
is the most
Which phone you're asking me?
Pion phone.
No, I have not heard about this kind of phone. I have no idea. Okay, so I am just ending this session. Thank you all. Thank you very much for joining. And I will generate all the certificates, and your e-certificates will be sent to your on the registered email as well as on your WhatsApp number. And can you please tell me, like on the next session, next webinar, on which topic should we keep? Can you please give a suggestion to us on the chat window?
Like if it would be on social media social media, how to be protect and from social media,
No,
spying from others.
I said on the chat box, Abhishek.
Sorry, sir.
Ransomware. So, Santosh, okay. Ransomware. Okay, fine. We will have a separate survey for that. But thank you very much for joining. People are leaving now, and I think I also have to drop this meeting. Bug bounty, that also we will talk about. Thank you very much. Thank you all for coming and giving your time. Thank you very much once again. Thank you.